Alright, let's do this. I've saved this cast for a long time. And because of that, it's gonna lag for the first few seconds. But that's okay. Alright, so this game was played a few hours before recording. However, I can only cast it now because of work. But as soon as work was over, I hopped back on it. And because I paused this replay for several hours now, it's gonna be really laggy at the start. But hopefully, everything will sort itself out pretty soon. It is a bronze level game, bronze 1 I believe. So not the most skilled bracket I've ever casted for sure, but I like casting bronze games a little bit. When I spectate bronze games recently, they all last a really long time. And it's very back and forth, which I like casting fiestas. It's not the most efficient play, obviously. Games don't end nearly as fast, because players just lack killer instincts. But that's okay, we get way more entertaining games this way. Alright, we're gonna run down the matchups. It is Urgot top going up against Gnar. I hope this zoom level is okay, by the way. Kayn jungling against the Rek'Sai. There are definitely two junglers you don't see that often in today's meta. Anivia mid against Gwen. The only problem with Gwen is that I just don't like her into mages. She has a lot of range problems. So picking her mid in a really short lane means that she doesn't really function as well. You really want a longer lane because Gwen wants to constantly get dashes into snips. But when your lane's short and Gwen has so much range problem, putting her up against Anivia seems like suicide to me. But what do I know? This is bronze. The Anivia likely doesn't even know what Gwen does, and that's massive points in favor to the Gwen. It's like, what, day 2 of Gwen's release? The bot lane is going to be Caitlyn Xerath going up against Shaco Jhin, and we're going to start it off by Xerath casually walking into a box, taking a significant amount of his health in chunk damage. Urgot flips the other way around, letting Gnar walk free. So we're off to a flying start so far. So I don't know who wins or loses this game. I've been told, I specifically requested no spoilers be given to me. I have a rough idea of how long this game lasts because once in a while I check like the in-game status. I don't exactly know the time where this game ended, but I have a good idea. It for sure lasts over 30 minutes. That's the only thing I know about it. So if there's something explosive pre 30 minutes, it likely won't end the game. Not that anything will. But knowing that we don't have that much information to go off, and Gwen's already gonna tank a huge chunk of her life in damage, but surprisingly, LCSing the Anivia, I will be expecting this Gwen to be complete zoned off by now. Gnar is going for an aggressive trade, while of course Urgot's going to be more than prepared, unless the Rek'Sai comes in to ruin his day. Perhaps overextended a little too far, but that's not really something you can predict. There are really easy ways to watch out for these kinds of things. You keep internal timers in your mind, so if you're playing mid, assuming a standard game the junglers are not total dummies and they can actually play the game, ooh, Gwen's gonna eat a huge chunk of ice to the face. Very confusing all in. Even if Gwen's all in did work, and even it will be egged and she died to minions. So that was a really interesting window for the Gwen to pick the all in, but that's gonna be Gwen's first death of the game. And then Anivia, I believe, unegged? No, she was egged. Yes, she is in fact egged. So Rek'Sai not gonna get much here, have to tunnel away, walled off, but that's a really awkward wall angle, so she can just slither away and be fine. But yes, anyway, gank timings. The ward was not placed on the tri-brush at top lane, so Urgot had no way of knowing that Rek'Sai was coming in, unless you keep in mind some sort of map timers. There are some things you can keep in track internally. For example, if you're playing mid and assuming both junglers are not total dummies, the earliest possible time you can expect the gank, unless it's like a level 2 cheese, is 2 minutes 40. At top lane, it is 3 minutes, is the earliest, or 250. Rather, is the earliest you can anticipate a gank. So one thing that top laners do is, if the game has gone standard and you don't see the enemy jungler level 2 ganking, cheesing anyone, you place your ward down at 250, and you start watching how far you position. You start being careful about trading for a while, until you're absolutely certain that the jungler is not swinging top for a gank. That is the standard thing, assuming that you know the enemy jungler started blue side. You just know that, hey, it's 250/3 minutes. I may be getting ganked soon. And that's just something that makes you play a lot less aggressive, back off a bit, ward up. That's going to be a 4-man roam to the bot lane, but blue team's already fully backed off, so that's a really wasted effort. Regardless, Urgot pushed too far up at 304. Jungler comes in right on cue, maybe a few seconds late, and gets that gank off. So that's going to be an Urgot kill. Very smart adaptation, going ahead to ward up the try instead, just to prevent that doesn't happen. Although, yes, Rek'Sai is already swaying to the bottom side. You'd expect the jungler to be around the boss side about 3.5 to 4 minutes after the first rotation the buff's been cleared, because that's when their camps respawn on that side. That's when the jungler is expected to be down there. Obviously, these are just the standards, because you run the assumption that champions run to where they can get money, and based on the way the camps respawn, the jungler is generally around the side where they have the most camps up. Very tricky to track these internal timers. I talk about the theory here, but I still don't do it perfectly, so I get ganked a lot. But it's one of those things where when you ask a question like, how can I predict that, it's very simple. Enemy tanks one too many tower shots going in for that one play. And surprisingly, despite in what I'm assuming is a totally winning position against a Gwen who just... honestly, her kit just isn't built to fight. She says, let me explain. Takes a few too many tower shots there, yes. Like, yeah, Gwen's kit is not equipped to fight long-range control mages. So I'm surprised that this Gwen is even in this matchup at all instead of being top lane. Perhaps it is really like the group of people who was saying like, instead of using E, my character walks, so shut up. It took him 24 seconds to produce that excuse. I'll buy it for now. Like, I don't know why people was like, oh, Gwen can go mid. She can't. she just can't. Every control mage in the game destroys her. Assassins break her one-on-one. You really should put Gwen in a longer lane where she can actually use her one advantage, which is the ability to deal consistent damage, percent health damage, not base damage, and the ability to chase people down very easily. That's going to be needlework, thread to the Nivea. Ooh, beautiful! Disdain charging back, and that's going to be a beautiful Fear Beyond Death, coiling up the Gnar. Beautiful solo kill. He did go a little bit too deep, and that was a good buffer off the Disdain to get back into the action and gun him down. So now it's up to the Urgot to catch up. The trinkets refresh. At least it seems like the trinket refresh. It was like a massive flash on the bottom screen. I wonder what happened there. Gwen ulti pinged out. It's very strikingly similar to old Irelia Transcendent Blaze, isn't it? Even the cooldown is essentially identical. It's a standard amount of cooldown for a fighter ultimate that you expect. Now Jhin is completely out of mana. Shaco's on the top side. What's he gonna do? He reveals himself as a Shiv instead of boxing first. That's a rookie mistake there. But now there's a box placed down. There's a lot of word control here in the try as well. There's a Jhin trap in the try. 2 words in the brushes. It's gonna make this Kane's job a little bit difficult. So he is going to go back and clear red camp instead. And surprisingly, a dead even game for bronze games. You would expect the game to have already gone very lopsided one way or another. That's a good solo kill here coming down from the bot lane, 2-on-2. Caitlyn picks up 1. Now Gwen, 2-2 against 2-2, but now you can see the lane is playing out slowly like it's supposed to. Gwen is now being shoved out. Leeching Leer is going to do just about nothing against Anivia because she can apply damage from so far away. Ooh, the minions just teleported forward there. That's interesting. Now, Urgot gonna be flung into the wall, and here comes the Rek'Sai. There's no pink in that brush. He had a pink in his inventory, but did not find the time to walk up and place it down, or even walk into his jungle and place the ward down from over the wall. So that means Rek'Sai comes in, gets a free gank. The pink ward just collecting interest, and that's gonna be Herald. Oh, a lot of money. Gonna go over to red team here. Kane comes in, casually slaps the back, and that's gonna be a 4-plated tower. So it's not gonna fall anytime soon. Gnar has to flash away. Anivia walks back after dropping the Flash Frost just to minimize damage as much as possible. There's the Kane. Shadow Infiltration coming out. Gnar is so close to dying. One more hit will do it. The Blaze Reach will get him. But one more tower shot, that's going to be a very low Kane. He dashes away from Anivia Glacial Storm to make sure the Rek'Sai is perfectly safe when she pops out. Which means that jungler is still, actually, they're brawling. They're still brawling it out. Anivia is completely out of mana. She cannot win this fight. But she's still going to go back and try for some weird reason. And meanwhile, Urgot has decided to go cover mid. A very interesting decision. He should just tell the Anivia to screw off and go back to her own lane. She can't really fight it anyway. Fear Beyond Death lands. He was in the Hallowed Mist, which means that Gwen cannot protect herself. And like we, as common sense dictates, a bunch of chains and buzzsaws are very effective against a literal doll. Gwen gets cut out into pieces. Urgot, victorious solo kill in hand, going to go back. No idea why Gwen stuck around for that fight. This play should not have worked for blue team. Best interest for Urgot was to go back to top. Anivia has no mana. She cannot stay in that lane full time. She needs to reset anyway. Urgot pings out his teleport and Mountain Drake up in 1 minute. Unfortunately, teleporting now will be a terrible idea, as you will more than certainly lose your tower if you teleport down for this dragon fight. The second dragon in this game just does not matter. Before setting the game into a rift, who cares who takes the first 2 drakes? It barely changes the outcome of a game. As for top lane, to just voluntarily give up to 2 waves of minions, plus potentially place and first tower, never TP for that second drake. In no world is it worth it. Flash Frost into Frostbite, that's gonna chunk out a huge life bar out of the Rek'Sai. Gwen comes back to lane, but she's already 1 level down and 13 CS behind. Working on her Riftmaker, but it honestly doesn't matter. Buying Riftmaker first in this matchup, you might as well have just thrown all your money away, because you just can't land damage onto Anivia. You need the Anivia to be like an actual pigeon behind the keyboard for you to really do anything in this trade. She can just casually walk away, and it's so awkward for Gwen because her damage rotation gets cut off so early. Anivia makes her to her tower very easily. Kane gonna get a cheeky solo kill here onto the Rek'Sai. Meanwhile, top lane, Urgot finding his stride, but he lands a Fear Beyond Death a little bit too early. Against mini Gnar who can kite you out, it is better to land it when you have the kill confirmed. A few more shots would not have hurt. Xerath charges up the Arcane Barrage. That's going to force a Gen to not flash. He doesn't have it, which begs the question why he was hugging the wall to begin with, but slew of question mark pings going down to mid lane. I'm not sure what they were accomplishing. And that's gonna be Dragon here for blue team. Doesn't even need to teleport. They find their own advantages. Gnar turns Mega, so Gnar knows Urgot does not have ultimate, so this is a perfect time for him to look for a cheeky trade. He has Ninja Tabai, and for some reason is going for Triforce. Just about one of the worst mythics you can get on Gnar. Not because the stats are bad, but because Strikebreaker is so incredibly compulsory that it boggles my mind that he will consider anything else. Ignore that sound. Actually, yes, hold on. Caitlin's certainly dead. I'm getting pings from Microsoft Teams. Let me just quit out Teams real quick so we can avoid further disruptions. It is now after work hours, after all, so keeping Teams on is just going to invite unnecessary noise. Alright, we're back to the cast. And now somehow red team is a 4-man strong, sieging bot lane. They can't kill this tower, right? Well, the plates are about to fall, but oh, Anivia, what are you doing? You can't walk in from that angle. Oh no, 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 get out, save yourself. Stop, put your Glacial Storm down, you're wasting mana. Oh, she's gonna walk into a box. Uh-oh, now the tower's dead. And now red team's like, hey, free bird. And now they're gonna come in for their daily dose of KFC, and Anivia gets egged up. Shaco box stops the Xerath dead in his tracks, no help coming in. And then he pings out Xerath R as if that's gonna help. First of all, he can't drop it, he was feared. Second of all, what did you expect out of Xerath R? Is it a one-shot kill? Alright, Urgot's gonna ping his ultimate. That's gonna say, hey Kane, let's dive this guy. I'm not sure if diving this guy will work. That's a very healthy tower and you don't have a minion wave. Diving him is very, very difficult. Oh, Gnar, he hopped away. This is the perfect time. But Kane has walked away. probably had his reasons too, honestly. Oh, no, never mind. He actually did land the disdain. I was gonna say, landing the disdain might be kind of difficult, but oh, but once again. You can land the Fear Beyond Death. The range is massive. Just get a few more shots in. Just confirm the kill. You don't have to rely on the Fear Beyond Death base damage to get them below 25%, because oftentimes it's not good. It's just not good. The Fear Beyond Death base damage might as well tickle. But once again, that's going to be Urgot all down. Pings are coming out, frantically calling Anivia home. Curtain call gets opened up. Bullets are dropping. Anivia's in trouble. And there's a permafrost. One more hit will do it. Gwen gets the kill and the triumph. No, triumph is not enough. Gwen gives up her life for the cause, but she shuts down the Anivia. Speaking of, how come both mid laners have no CS? I can understand Gwen, but how does an Anivia have so little CS? You're Anivia. You could be lethargic and CS with Anivia. Just leave your aura on AFK and you get money. How's the Anivia farming this poorly? Now Gwen completes the Riftmaker. Well, she's had it for a while, but that's all she has. Not much to write home about. In fact, the two mid laners here have pretty similar inventories. Anivia is a little bit stronger. Kaylin going to pick up Kraken Slayer. Objectively the wrong choice. Like Gale Force is just much better. And Shaco going to help himself to Herald's Eye, which is a symbol for top lane to get out, but also, why is he dropping this Herald top lane? That tower is already beyond— Oh no! No, don't TP! Don't TP! You know the Herald was just taken! No! Oh no! You know the Herald was just taken! You shouldn't be up there! Alright, that aside, seems like they don't need to drop the Herald to kill the top tower, which means they can save it for another objective. I do think dropping Herald now on inner would be a mistake and get a lot more value by just dropping it mid. Meanwhile, Gwen is finding her way somehow into this amazing 1v3 situation that she just can't win. But no, they are just going to Herald top anyway. Not the worst play, just a little bit suboptimal, which is the story of Bronze. And they're going to get themselves a tower. Are they actually going to try to go for a second charge? The answer is yes, because apparently nobody on blue team cares. Nor should they, because— oh no, never mind, they do care, but they care way too late. If they just picked one call and stuck with it, both would have gone perfectly. They can either come home immediately and stop the Herald, or keep pushing mid. Both would have been advantageous to blue team, but unfortunately they picked neither, and halfway through doing one thing, they switch to the other. And their indecisiveness cost them greatly here. I say that, but they still have the gold lead in their hands. The Urgot is 3 levels up on the support, but it is a Shaco, the mental terrorist. He makes you believe you can kill him. And Urgot has taken that bait, hook, line, and sinker, dropping his way into 2 boxes. Shaco is healthy enough that— well, Shaco does low enough damage that Urgot isn't really in danger of dying to this. But it is hurting him. Fear Beyond Death is just going to whiff. That angle just did not look right when it was launched out, so Shaco's just gonna walk away. But blue team gonna help themselves to Dragon number 2. Get themselves the Inferno Drake. Good global play from them. Anivia, don't stick around for this fight. You have no mana, girl. What are you gonna do? Nara's gonna come in. Kane realizes he's in the world of hurt, but not as hurtful as Caitlyn's gonna feel. Shot down from the Gwen. Anivia lobs the crystal way beyond the Hallow Mist range, so Gwen comes out unscathed, but 2 snips, that's it. 5 needles going through her. No, it completely whiffs. More snips going to egg her up, and this is an out of mana Anivia. There's nothing that can be done here. Kane's also gonna fall. He rejoins the fight at the worst time possible. And Xerath, being the only smart person in this team, is going to walk away from a doomed fight and not opt to throw more bodies into the ring. The red team with that play has taken themselves with up with the gold lead. But Urgot is also going to get some free time pushing up top now. What are you doing? Alright, he offers us up to the cause, and speaking of Gnar, instead of Triforce, he's gone Divine Thunder, which is infinitely worse than Triforce. I would have just preferred he made the first mistake and stuck with it. Curtain Cause gonna open up. This Zerath is in clear vision and knocked up, so that shot cannot be missed even by a bronze player. But I had to wait until I say that because you can never be too sure. Caitlyn going up. More CS against the Gwen. This Gwen has no CS, just god-awful CS. Kayn is coming in. He's going to look for the pop. No, but it is Rast, so it doesn't do as much damage as Kayn himself. Deadly Flourish does connect, but the Jhin gets walled off, so that's certain death for him. And ooh, the Shaco! No, he's gonna pop the hallucination. Of course, the clone is less tanky, but the clone was not being focused. Fear Beyond Death. Oh, very close to connecting there, but no bueno. Caitlyn gonna get caught out by the Rek'Sai with Gwen helping out. The backwards juke from the Deceive works every single time. One tech you can do against Shaco is to bring Ignite. If you ever see yourself in the role where you're split pushing in the game with this, if you're gonna be in a split pushing position in a game against Shaco, you can consider taking Ignite. If you know where he is, just light him on fire, and he cannot deceive away. He will leave a trail behind while ignited to show his exact position, making it impossible for a Shaco to juke you. It's not a tech that I personally consider because I still value teleport above almost everything else. I just value the map and map pressure you can provide with it. But in situations like this, it might be worth considering. I'm just saying, for me, that cost benefit never works out enough to be when I just abandon teleport altogether. I'm so used to playing with teleport. I played with it for like what, 5 years now. That if you just gave me Ignite, chances are I forget I had it. It's something to think about though. Everfrost's gonna come out, and poor Zerath ignites the clone. He leaves behind 3 boxes, but the Shaco, he's not gonna make it to the blast cone. Urgot pops the blast cone himself. Rek'Sai gets pinned up, missing the Eye of the Storm center damage. Arcano Pulse shooting at his own Urgot. And here comes the Rast. He's gonna come in. He's looking for an aggro play. The snipe from downtown not gonna connect. Uh-oh, the bullets are coming in. But Urgot is tanking up every shot. He's tanky enough to survive this, but what about the Gwen? She's doing some damage on the back, except for the part where she's forgot to auto-attack, so she doesn't actually get any kills onto the Caitlyn. 2 snips is very, very bad. You're better off just autoing instead of doing 2 snips of damage. You need snips. You need stacks of snip before you go in and actually use snip. 2 snips locks you in for way too long for virtually no damage. Unfortunately, Gwen can rack up damage very quick, and unfortunately this Gwen confused one shop icon for another, and instead of buying Nashor's Tooth, she bought a similar looking sword, and that one is infinitely worse because Gwen is very auto-reliant and she is not burst reliant at all. You just do not burst with Gwen. The Lich Bane purchase makes no sense. Maybe as a flex item, but I don't think she's in a position to be flexing. Yeah, she has some kills. She has the most kills on her team in the Cruel Twist of Fate, which just goes to show you how incredibly screwed the red team is in this present position. But I would never consider a Lich Bane. You have 2 rounds with Gwen. You just get Nashor's Look to carry, or you get a lot more defensive items like Rylai's Embrace. You just look to do consistent DPS. In none of those paths is Lich Bane a good item on Gwen. That being said, day 2 of Gwen. Who knows? But I just don't see how Lich Bane is good. I would love to be proven wrong. But what a day would it be when a bronze player proves me wrong. Anivia freezes up the Gnar in place. And that's going to cause the Gwen to run for the hills. Curtain Call gets opened up on the very tip, which guarantees minimal damage. Massive question marks going down on Jin's body. Probably rightfully deserved. I don't know what he was looking at. Perhaps trying to alt the mini-wave away, but so many boxes. They're slowly just gonna murder Anivia. Urgot charges in, but he's not gonna find the target. Everfrost somehow misses the sweet spot. Shaco gonna get tagged up. He needs to deceive out. He doesn't have to cool down. Ace in the hole. This is not gonna kill. Oh, this is gonna kill. Wow. Surprising, she actually found some more damage. A similar shot from before wouldn't have killed, and Caitlyn's picked up exactly 0 AD since then. I'm surprised this volley killed. Whereas the last one left the Jhin at like what, 20 health? End soon heart, says the Shaco. How fitting from a Shaco. Shaco players either have the greatest mental or the least mental. And that we believe that the first player to have given up is the Shaco, which labels him as the weak mental player. Shaco, says the Xerath. I could do a dramatic reading of a bronze script. You should take Dark Harvest. He should take Dark Harvest. That's not wrong. I could do a dramatic reading of the entire chat transcript of a bronze level game and it'd be hilarious. One of the first leak videos, this is like 10 years ago, but one of the first leak videos, and I believe that video is still up now. It's called a dramatic reading of a 600 elo game. Very hilarious stuff. That was one of the first leak videos I remember watching. Well, that and like the classic old stuff, like the Pro Attack Guide to Master E. That's a gold standard as well. But the dramatic reading one, man, that was good. I would love to do all those. But unfortunately, people in bronze surprisingly are just like not keyboard warriors. Bronze players are really wholesome. Once every 2 games, you get massive trash talkers in plat. But bronze players are surprisingly wholesome. Like, they actually give each other advice. Like, this is a very civil discussion between the Shaco and Xerath, and it pleasantly surprises me. The bronze players are genuinely nice people, and then you just have like plat people trash talking each other, and it's awful. It makes you lose faith in humanity. But speaking of, like, the red team's base is just getting broken wide open. Urgot gonna call down the inhibitor. And this looks to be it. This might be just their final push. And the red team are just not playing the game anymore. Shaco has fully given up. He's purchased an Oblivion Orb for one last hurrah, but really it's like 10 extra AP on top of already 0 damage. He is gonna light the Anivia on fire. Oh, she doesn't have egg! Oh, that's actually a kill. So the shutdown goal goes over to perhaps the most useless member on red team. Oh, that's not true. I think Shaco is still more useful than the Jhin. At least Shaco has CC. Surrender Wolf failed for red team. Only 2 people believe that they should give up. You know, good on them. They still have hope. But this game is the goal lead here lies. It's only a 5,000 goal lead, but it feels like 10. The goal lead is a lot less severe than it actually is. I believe the problem is just poor distribution. They have money on people who cannot make good use of it. Okay, then trap Gwen. Oh, just place the trap down by Gwen's on Gwen's feet. You'll trap her as soon as she comes out of the Zayas. And that's a free kill. But no, Gwen's gonna walk away. Caitlyn doesn't get that. And that's gonna be Urgot dead for free. The soul is up. This is a game ender soul because blue team already has so much punch in everything they do. Infernal Drake is going to push them over the top very easily. This is the secret sauce they need to win this. It's not like their victory hasn't been guaranteed already. What was that flash? What was that flash? Caitlyn, did you need that? Oh, the net away. Not going to proc the headshot, but the Xerath ult, the Arcane Barrage is enough to send her away. And now Rek'Sai's back on the run. Kang comes in, jumps her face. A few more hits will do it. She pops the ultimate, but it's not enough. Alright, are they just not gonna do dragon? Like, that's not a rhetorical question. You don't have to. You can just push and end. This dragon is purely optional, but it seems like they'll go for it anyway, and they go for it in the worst way and leave 2 squishies around 3 enemies. Gwen's gonna come in. The Hallowed Mist is surprisingly close to the Caitlyn's face, but she doesn't try walking in, and Gwen's gonna get a free kill. Caitlyn's just gonna completely ignore her support and going for the Jhin. Not gonna work out. Beautiful double knockout here from the Kayn. There's the Shadow Infiltration onto the Gwen. A very squishy target, but he does the damage nonetheless. Gnar is going to transform right about now. He hops away, but he realizes his mid lane is in a lot more trouble, so he has to go there. But the rest of blue team is sieging bot lane. Urgot kills off the Shaco Core, and he gets Gnar'd back. But it's gonna be the Gnar himself. That's right. Focus the supports there. I said that's not the point at all. That's not why they lost that fight. But yes, whatever makes them feel better. Jin is just going to die a million miles away, and that's gonna be it. That's the end of the game. Blue team wins it. Very convincing, but also a very chaotic game. 29-55, a total of 54 kills, and blue team takes the win.